All right, all right. Let me see if I'm actually streaming or not. Seems to be that I am. Cool. All right, this is a Satisfactory playthrough. I've played through this game a couple of times. I don't have nearly the hours that a lot of these guys do, but I do not have an insignificant amount. So I am planning on hopefully doing a 100% playthrough of this. We'll see. We're gonna do the grass fields. And I cannot type at all this morning. Let's get started.
Separation from main transport complete. Group 8 delivered to Calistian region. All pioneers functional, initiating dispersion. Attention Pioneer, I am Ada, your personal instance of the artificial directory and assistant. Welcome to the Fixit Incorporated Save the Day program. A Fixit Pioneer has 3 core assignments. Construct. All pioneers must follow Fixit guidelines and instructions when constructing any building. Automate. Every pioneer is responsible for setting up and managing efficient pipelines, outposts, and power infrastructure. Explore and exploit. Fixit selected planets are rich with resources suitable for direct use or further investigation. Stay within your designated. And that is why the world is counting on pioneers like you. Fixit. Short-term solutions to long-term problems. Initiating planetfall. Atmospheric entry in 3, 2, 1. Beginning arrow assist. Drag within acceptable parameters. Descent phase begun. Decelerating. Deploying parachute. Deploying backup parachute. Skipping parachute. Landing phase begun. Activating retro propulsion. Touchdown. Planetfall complete. Drop pod integrity nominal. Omni-situational exploration suit nominal. Pioneer. Acceptable. Congratulations, you are the 3rd in your region to survive planetfall. Welcome to Massage 2, AB-B, in the binary system of Akicha. Loading objective-based introduction. Begin onboarding. First contact safety tool supplied due to presence of alien megafauna. Adhere to Fixit procedure and equip the Fixit Inc. Xeno Zapper before leaving the drop zone.
Alright. That was a pretty long intro. Finally here in Satisfactory. So, like I said before, I really want to try to do a 100% playthrough. We'll see how far I get. But I really love that intro sequence.
Next objective, dismantle the drop pod. Fix It Incorporated is cost-effective and efficient. We do not waste. The drop pod will be recycled to construct the first stage of the habitat and utility base, often referred to as the hub. Next objective, use the resource scanner to find and collect additional iron to be able to build the hub. If you cannot find iron, be assured scans of the planet have revealed sufficient iron sources.
Alright, so I don't necessarily have a full plan of how I decide how I want to set up the build. I do have some ideas of like what I would like to do this playthrough. Mainly I want to look a lot into transportation. That also seems to be what 1.2 is going to be doing. Is looking into transportation and stuff. So, but we got a few weeks.
Samples of new alien species acquired. Preserve the remains for later study.
I went to go turn the stream down. There's some awesome artifacting going on. There you go. That's cool. I don't see any more artifacting. So, there is a place that I've seen on some YouTube videos that I would really like to build. I've built there once.
Next objective, use the build gun to construct the hub. Iron is a base component necessary for all near future progress, so ensure you build the hub close to iron sources. Fix It does not pay by the kilometer.
We're going to be setting up a little closer to the coast. Hopefully that'll help us out a lot. There's a lot of pure nodes in like a really small area.
This semi-slug species seems to persist entirely through absorbing and storing energy from its surroundings. Studying this could provide new methods for improving Fix-It production line efficiency. Store this potential resource for later use.
So, you're probably not hearing me talk when Ada talks or during the intros and everything. That's one thing that I really try to do is not talk over the game itself, because it has no qualms with talking over me. So, yeah, I don't know if it's like that for anybody else, but I do tend to get overwhelmed to a degree.
Samples of unknown alien species acquired. It is unclear where on the flora or fauna spectrum it lies, but initial data suggests this might be a nest or an egg. Preserve the remains for later study.
So we're almost to our destination.
samples of unknown alien species acquired. Their weaponized plasma is most likely stored as a stable chemical substance in an organ close to their mouth, and only turns volatile when exposed to one of the chemical elements in the air. Preserve the remains for later study. The astrobiologist Dr. D.M. Mercer was the first to recognize the presence and probable nature of these alien artifacts. These chain-melted state spheres are named in his honor. Each sphere emits a unique signal and will require study to determine local application, store it for later use.
Okay, hopefully Ada shouldn't be talking too terribly much more until we start building the base, which we're actually about to do. But this in particular area right here is where I'd like to start out our base, and we'll eventually move. I would like to make main base. There's a big island way over there. We don't have the map just yet, but I'd like to move over there because it's very scenic. There's a lot of waterfalls, and it's just kind of out of the way for the map. But what we are looking for in particular is somewhere around here. I think it's one level up. That's right, it's way over here. There's 3 really good iron nodes right there that we can use, as well as some copper and limestone.
Hub foundation built. The hub terminal and crafting bench are only the humble beginnings of a successful Fix-It pioneer, but essential for the next steps of onboarding. Once finished, the hub will function as your base of operations. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 1.
Okay, so while we wait on this, the current plan is I'm gonna get up to where we have foundations, and then I'm gonna start building on the water, just to get us out of the dirt for the time being. And then once we get on some actual foundations, start actually working on some builds, I'll create a little bit of a starter factory here, and then we're gonna go collect some live drops to go get some oh crap, I can't even talk. We're gonna go collect some alternate recipes, which we will need. Then once we get sufficient enough, then we're gonna have to build a decent power plant. Something even better than coal, unfortunately. But in due time. Alright.
Hub upgrade 1, storage and frame, completed. Equipment like the portable miner can now be made in the workshop. Congratulations on completing your first milestone, the first of many providing access to new recipes and technologies for the Fix-It mission. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 2. Hub upgrade 2, power and shell, completed. The smelter can turn raw ore such as copper and iron into ingots, and the biomass burner generates power when fueled. Fun fact, most of the native flora and fauna is compatible with Fix-It technology. Fueling the biomass burner with inappropriate materials will result in deductions or even cancellation of your yearly bonus. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 3.
Okay, we need one of those And we need to make some copper for some cable. All right. So I'm gonna try to min-max to a degree, I guess you can say. Mainly on the power slug front. So I know there's only a limited number of power slugs in the game, and I really would like to try and focus down and get as many as we can, especially because there's duplication techniques. Well, I saw a video earlier, there's actual duplication, I believe, but I really want to do legitimacy. Besides the hopping around I'm doing here, I'm not entirely sure that I want to do hypertube cannons and stuff like that. I really do kind of want to make things legit. Because I think on a lot of my playthroughs that I go and I'll be working on things and I'll start using hypertube cannons and stuff, and I think that that probably causes me to go and miss out on a lot of things. You gotta love that artifacting. I'm going back into OBS every once in a while. I'm noticing that I really am like peeking out the microphone. I can't really hear it on my end, but I have no doubt that I am probably borderline busting eardrums. And try not to do that. Oh, I almost forgot. There's only one mod that I'm using. Let me see if I can remember it. Yes. I believe this is Sky UI. I may be wrong. But definitely I could be corrected. But I like this one. I saw on Kibitz use this. But you can stop time, and this is very helpful, especially for trying to see in your game. The biggest thing that I've not been a biggest fan of is the night cycle, especially when starting out, because it gets really hard to see your builds. But hopefully, you know, we'll get to a point we don't really have to worry too terribly much about that. Of those, and then 20 iron plates.
Hub Upgrade 3, Interior Furnishing, completed. The constructor can produce simple parts, and power poles allow for the expansion of the power grid. When you make the inevitable mistake, Fix-It's dismantling feature is designed to salvage all resources used during construction, in line with our zero-waste policy. We understand that Fix-It pioneers are only human, and thus prone to error. Next objective, complete Hub Upgrade 4.
Oops. So I would really like to get out of the biomass era as fast as possible. Oh, can't forget our customizations. So we'll hit him up with the summer sloop. I'm not a big fan of the RGB. The RGB is kind of cool to a degree, but they're coming out with selfies. Next update. We'll hit the golden helmet. We'll do that. I'm not sure about the build gun though. Okay, we might do the RGB for the build gun. Okay, that's kind of cool. Whoa. I didn't even notice that. This game seems to have some issues with some artifacting. I don't know if it's necessarily on my end or if it's on the game's end, but I'll definitely figure that out after I start streaming today. Let's do it again. Blind mode. Alright, where were we? Copper. Excuse me. I should set up constructors, I really should. But I really want to get to foundations first. So we'll thug it out a little bit here in the dirt. So we have that pure iron node right there. And if I can get up here. See, we have another pure iron. And a third pure. So we have those three iron nodes already right there. Plus a pure copper node. I'll leave that dog alone. On top of, we also have a pure limestone. So we have pure of all the main resources right off the bat. Super helpful. However, that being said, we do need some more portable miners. There you go. Ooh, there's multiple. Ain't no match. So one for you. And one for you. Okay, unless I can't count, that should be just enough concrete for us. Yeah, I definitely can't count. One away. Extra's always better.
Hub Upgrade 4, Landing Platform and Utilities completed. Conveyor belts connect the output of one building to the input of another and transport resources. Due to past incidents, I have been asked to issue a clarification. Portable miners, obviously, do not have a connection for conveyor belts. There is nothing to suggest, visually or functionally, that they can be connected to portable miners. If this is something you struggle with, do not worry. Fixit has alternative uses for all their pioneers. Next objective. Complete Hub Upgrade 5.
Alright, I think we can tackle our concrete first. Okay, that right. Let's go ahead and get the copper too. I'm so used to doing limestone nodes that are poor, that it just takes forever for it to finish. Alright. And switch you over to copper. Scared me for a second there. Like it was gonna do it. Well, while we wait on that, let's see if we can get the slug up here. Or maybe I'm just terrible at gaming. Tried to do a slide jump and then it didn't want to do it. Okay, of course I start streaming for the first time ever, and then it decides to just absolutely just call me out on how bad I am at video games. Okay. Since we're about to get the actual miners, I'll start actually looking into building some infrastructure here in a little bit. Oh man, oh man. Ah. Cannot wait for the automation part. I'd be doing it now, but I really just want to focus down on getting my basic utilities up before I start building any infrastructure, so I have less to delete later.
Hub upgrade 5, power expansion completed. The miner, unlike portable miners, can be connected to conveyor belts and requires power to function. Caution: as you expand, the energy demand of your production may exceed the capacity of your power grid. The onboarding program was established because Fix-It pioneers often experience memory issues after planetfall. If you are experiencing nosebleeds, nausea, existentialism, or an itchy scalp, there is no need for concern. This should pass within 5 to 7 workdays. Next objective: complete Hub Upgrade 6.
Alright, I believe upgrade 6 is the last one. And then we really start getting into it. Finish that bit of copper up. Get back over to iron. Alright, well, while we let that sit and cook, what exactly are we doing with this one again? Mass burner, space elevator, okay. I didn't realize you get reinforced plates this early. It's pretty neat. Yeah, one of the major objectives that you usually want to try to get right here at the end, or right here at the beginning, is to get rid of these reinforced iron plates. Or, not necessarily get rid of these, but change the recipe to where it uses copper wire instead of these screws. And that's ideally what I'll be trying to go for, is to get rid of the need for screws in just any factory that I build, because these are annoying, and it's mainly just the throughput issue, because You need so many of them. So when we unlock foundations, we're gonna take a trip. Try to help out with a little bit of this mobility stuff. Well, if you happen to watch this, I hope you're having a good day. Right now, as I'm sitting here, it's Saturday. So I hope anybody that's seeing this is having a good day, or good afternoon, good morning, whatever it is. But what's most likely probably going to happen is I delete this VOD because I probably sound horrendous. Or the artifacting is stuck around and I don't know it yet.
Hub Upgrade 6, Landing Platform Hydraulics, completed. Freighter landing initialized. Congratulations, you have completed onboarding and achieved the absolute minimum skill level required of a Fixit pioneer. Fixit looks forward to your future achievements, because a future with Fixit is a future with you. Tier 1 and 2 milestones are now available in the hub, and biomass burners can now be built individually. Your first official objective is to initiate project assembly by building the space elevator. This objective will take a significant amount of resources, so Fixit recommends getting to work.
That was just like the absolute perfect timing. It landed and immediately cut my power grid. Okay, so this is the one that we want here. This is useful. Technically useful. I want this one and base building. So between these two, they've added little plants since last time I was on. That's cute. Alright, ADHD, focus. Anyway, if we can get the base building, then we're going to have foundations, which is really going to help us out, get us off the dirt, and more in tune with actually getting some good-looking factories built. That's really what I want to strive to do this way through, because I've built functional, but I have not built good looking. Okay, that should be enough to last us. At least for a little bit. I should have picked up concrete while I was over there. Or limestone. Didn't even think about it. Yeah, this first part is really slow. But once we get this up and going, then we can have some automation, and then we can start doing some multitasking. So I don't necessarily plan on streaming Satisfactory every single time I stream. I like to do coding projects on the side. More vibe coding than anything, really. So I'll probably do a few streams of actually doing that. I just like doing Satisfactory on the side because it's very calming, I guess is the best way to put it. I need 89. That should be it for this. And then we need concrete. There's other games I would definitely like to play too. Supposedly there's going to be a Fallout 3 remaster. Now, if that comes along, 100,000,000%, we're gonna be playing that. I'm gonna take these two gentlemen and put them on the concrete or the limestone. And try to make that process just a little faster. I believe if we can fill up all three of those portable miners over on the other side, then we should have enough to complete this without having to wait too terribly long. Got the foot cam going. Sorry about that. Had to look at my phone for just a second.
Milestone reached. Several new structures are now available for improving factory organization. Foundations provide a building grid, which makes it easier to manage placement of any structure. In the event that you are experiencing amnesia for all events prior to planetfall, be reassured that memories of beloved humans and/or animals would have only been distractions from your important mission.
Okay, so usually I would go. We would go ahead and go exploring a little bit, or start building our foundations. However, there's a key aspect to it that we really need to do, and the reason why we're doing the resource sink. The reason we need to do the resource sink first is because our normal foundations that we have, that we just unlocked, if you can see right here in the build mode, it takes 2 iron plates and 5 concrete. However, something that we can do is in the resource sink, we can get tickets and then use tickets to buy concrete foundations. Now, concrete foundations are a lot better because they do not use the iron plates in this recipe, so then all we have to do is really carry around concrete. And that's what I'm really ultimately trying to aim for, is not having to carry iron plates with us, just carry concrete. No, a lot of the ideas and stuff that I've gotten from this game, it's not, I can't take really credit for my own. I'm really going to try to focus down on getting my own ideas and designs out there, because I don't feel like I'm really creative, but I'd like to see if I can actually do something creative, because I feel like that's a skill, and that's a skill that I don't necessarily have. I usually think more of the functionality side of stuff, and not a whole lot on the getting stuff to look good while being functional. So I just feel like I need to tie all that together. With that being said, though, we really need to get out of the dirt. Did we get enough iron plates? We did not. I need to make more portable miners. Things are looking pretty dire. Something that I discovered on my last playthrough for this game, to give you an idea, every time I do a playthrough, and I've done a handful, every time that I do a playthrough, I end up getting just a little bit farther than I did the first time, or the last time. The last time, I ended on the very end of Phase 4. I believe it was Phase 4. It's right before you get into the phase that they unlocked, right when they released Satisfactory 1.0. But I really want to get into those things. I just had got so burned out of the game, because I was going one playthrough right into another playthrough, and I don't think that was really a good idea. But to combat that, I have taken a break since then. I haven't really done too terribly much. And I know 1.2 is going to come out pretty soon. And I am extremely excited to see what they're going to produce. So this is the first time I've streamed in quite some time. I have not streamed in almost 2 years. I did a first stream quite a long time ago, and I wasn't really happy with the quality and stuff that I had. I only did like 1 or 2. So I stopped and worked on a lot of other stuff that was going on in my life at the time. And, well, I decided it's time to hop back into streaming. I don't watch too terribly streams. Sorry, I don't watch too terribly many streams on my own. But I figured streaming was a little bit easier to jump into than making videos, and I figured I could try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone and go and stream, which then gives me a VOD to work with, then I can actually use to make a video. Now, have I done anything that's very interesting to make this video? No. That's something that I gotta work on. But on top of all that, also, I kind of figured streaming would be a good way to uh, talk to people while I game and stuff, because I used to have a lot of friends that I would play with while I streamed, but as you get older, those days sometimes go away. That actually sounded really sad. Nah, it's just hard to, as people get older, it's hard to catch people online and stuff, and I'm probably online more than I really should be. Something you should be aware of is that I have a very big tendency to fat finger my keyboard a lot. I'm also going to work on getting a quieter keyboard, because you're probably hearing the clacking of the keyboard as I sit here and do this. If I start typing and stuff while I talk. So I'm definitely going to narrow it down and hopefully get it quieter. Almost done, except for the copper. So one thing I really want to look at when going through here, and something that I take a lot of precaution in, is when I do a new playthrough and stuff, when I look at the power slugs and everything, and I talked about this earlier, but with the power slugs and everything, there's only so many of them, and there does get to be a point where you can do the power slugs, where you can make your own power slugs, but that is so far away from where we're at now, that I would really like to maximize the amount of power slugs that I can get. So the little guy on the build gun, that's a summer sloop, and we are going to start looking for those as soon as we do get the resource sync program started. Yeah, we definitely got a ways to go. Okay, this should be the last of the limestone we need. When we start running out of leaves on the biomass burner, we're gonna start doing the actual biomass. I'm gonna try my best to not deforest a lot of places. There's one island that I do know of in particular. It's the island that when we first started the playthrough, I was like, okay, I want to build here. That island I definitely want to go and deforest, and that'll take some time. But the reason why I want to is because we will get a ungodly amount of biofuel that we can then use to power all of our factory until we can get more satisfied on different fuel sources, mainly coal power. Which coal power is not going to really last us terribly long, because I always like to jump immediately from coal power straight to oil-based production, and then when we do oil-based production, I then like to focus on doing rocket fuel. Rocket fuel, not I really like the process of making that, because the blueprints are a little difficult to work on, or it's a little bit higher complexity. But it's fun nonetheless. No joke trying to do this the hard way. There may be something wrong with me. As we progress further, I may play this game some while not streaming. I'm not entirely sure just yet, but we'll definitely figure it out. 40 more of those, and then we move on to copper. How much for ma'am? Okay, that'll definitely take a bit, but not too terribly much. And this game never ceases to amaze me, just like how beautiful it looks. I really do need to spend time to sit down and enjoy it. That never ceases to scare me every single time it does that. Much. Let's get our boy back on the road. All right. Switch that over to copper. So I originally was thinking of not worrying about MAM research and just throwing a lot of resources into the resource sink, because we don't necessarily need a lot of tickets to get our concrete foundations. But the more and more I sit here and think about it, I really do want to go ahead and get all of the get at least the MAM research, because then we can start researching like these animal parts and stuff and using the DNA capsules, which is a way better early game and late game resource sink than materials are, because we're going to get to a point where materials are going to get to be extremely abundant. So let me go ahead and do that. We are super close on the copper, and then we can move on with our lives. So we're gonna have to make some screws. See, there's that fat fingering stuff again. We're gonna need to make some screws to make the awesome shop. I do remember that much. And we will also need it to complete that MAM research tree. Yep.
Milestone reached. You have been given access to the anti-waste effort for stress testing of materials on Exoplanet's bonus program, also known as AWESOME. Your awesome input allows Fixit to comprehend our amazing universe more clearly. In appreciation of this, we have generously set up an internal, closed economy with exclusive rewards and currency. Directing parts of varying quantity and complexity into the awesome resource sink will grant Fixit coupons. These coupons can be redeemed in the awesome shop for highly desirable items such as new foundations, walls, factory attachments, cosmetics, parts, and more. Next time you have additional resources, just remember to go that extra kilometer. Go awesome.
Alright, so on top of the field research that we got to do, now we have the awesome sink and the awesome shop. So, seems we have half of the materials that we already need. I'm going to switch this back to iron. So something that I don't necessarily hear a lot from folks, I guess either because everybody knows it, or not a lot of people know it. It's one or the other. I just don't hear it a lot, but this game actually has a lot of really good resources around crash sites, which we haven't seen one just yet, but we're about to shortly. But the crash sites are really good for a lot of early to mid-game resources that we can then use to just automatically upgrade a lot of the stuff in our phases. So as soon as we get a basic factory down, just to start making a lot of these resources automatically, then we're going to go ahead and start exploring and see what we can get done. But right now, the reason why I'm still working on concrete and stuff is because concrete's going to be very useful, not only for building our foundations that we're about to need, but also because when we're exploring, we're going to be using ramps. to get to some places that are not necessarily the easiest to get to. Okay, so I forgot about the reinforced iron plates, so we'll tackle that here. We need 15 times 6. 90 plates. Don't judge me for needing simple mathematics on the calculator. Well, I mean, you can't judge me. Because I definitely deserve to be judged for that. So, I was wondering... So, the first time that this is the second time that I've used this area. And the first time I used it, I put everything over here on the ocean base. Like, right above. I put my foundations right on top of the water. Here. And... I guess that's fine and dandy, because I do like to keep my things level, but I'm wondering if I need to make it to where, so this would be if everything's in one place, but I'm wondering if I need to do everything not in one place, like spread it out a little bit closer to the ores and stuff, because we're going to start having conveyor lines come down here and everything, and that'll get a little spaghettified, and I'm not against spaghetti. Spaghetti conveyors. It just gets to be a little bit of a hassle to clean up. I don't know. I'm still thinking on it. When we start actually getting into higher levels of factories, I'll start having to refer to an application called Satisifactory Modeler, and That's somewhere that you can build factories and stuff. It's free on Steam, and but we'll be looking at that in the very near future. So I was going to originally use these screws for the reinforced plates, but I'm going to go ahead and just use it for the awesome shop. Alright, so what we need is... We don't necessarily need any of these right now. We need the concrete foundation right here. And it's only 3 tickets, that's not much. Especially right here at the beginning. How many screws are we going to need? 12. 12 times 15. Well, actually, we did 6 times 15, and that was 90, right? Yeah. So then we're going to need 180 screws. It's actually not bad. We're almost there. You know, now that I sit here and think about it, I did not really realize just how much people really do cut out of like their gameplay. Because, yeah, sitting here and doing this is not necessarily the most exciting, obviously, but I just never realized just how much people cut out. Alright, there's the resource sink. Let's work on field research. So I'm going to do the screws first, and then go after the iron plates, and then the copper. So, the first couple of recipes that we need to be looking for right off the get-go is going to be the stitched iron plates, which is the alternate recipe for these reinforced iron plates. Oops. the reinforced iron plates take all these screws, and we don't necessarily want to be using these screws because, as you can see, they get to be very hard to deal with. And we really don't want to use them if we can help it. Because if we can help it, then our lives will be way easier. We can work with lower level belts. We can make the reinforced iron plates a lot faster. Just the whole kit and caboodle, to be honest. So I don't necessarily have to be doing a lot of this stuff by hand, but I really don't want to place down constructors until we start having the correct foundations. Which I'm gonna have to place 1 or 2 constructors. Okay, luckily this is the, this field research tab is luckily the last little bit before we start actually doing something actually new and a little less boring. Okay, so this should be all of our copper that we need. Plus a little extra to run a power line to the resource sink. I do know that we are going to need some more iron because I need to... I'm going to have to build at least 1 constructor and at least a storage box. And there we go.
Milestone reached. Supply the molecular analysis machine, referred to as the MAM, with local resources to research and develop new technologies. Potential technologies include exploration tools, weapons, and factory buildings. These are essential for maximizing your Pioneer efficiency and alignment with Fixit's core pillars: construct, automate, explore, and exploit. To advance Fixit's mission, all notable phenomena, resources, technology, or other influence should be investigated regardless of any perceived danger, as stated in the Pioneer contract.
Okay, so we're gonna need 5 reinforced plate, 6 times 5, 35. Okay, I promise I can do math, I swear. I promise I can do math on a factory game with a lot of math involved. I promise. Now my memory, on the other hand, my memory's not good, because I don't remember how much I said I needed. I think it was 35. I hope I was right. And if we need 35 iron plates, we need 70 screws. And here we go. Alright, let's grab our materials so we can see what we're cooking with.
The remains researched belong to an organism now dubbed the fluffy-tailed hog. It has many characteristics that would likely classify it among the Suidae family were it native to Earth. Hog remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving Pioneer safety during exploration. The remains researched belong to a plant-like organism hosting the larva of the flying crab, the most mature of which hatch when threatened. Hatcher remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving Pioneer safety during exploration. The remains researched belong to an organism that tends to nest near objects emitting specific types of resonance. Spitters are called as such due to their ability to create and spit plasma across long distances. Spitter remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving Pioneer safety during exploration. This semi-slug, now dubbed Power Slug, is early in its life cycle and has retained only part of its potential energy storage capacity, giving it its blue color. Power slugs are capable of extracting latent energy from their surroundings, including through a form of photosynthesis, and preserve it in their porous semi-crystalline shell over their lifetime. This explains why they rarely move after having found a suitable location. Mercer sphere analysis completed. Established local planetary signature of massage 2, AB, in the local Mercer sphere signals, allowing them to be tracked by the object scanner. Mercer spheres can also transmit data between specific.
Witness our scripture, witness our windows. Have you come to defile our shrine? Sing us on.
Arguing the existence of intelligent alien life. While Fixit has figured out the method, all of the original data is still untranslatable.
Alright. Now that we get that out of the way, let's take some time, do some exploration. I was gonna sit here and do some planning out with the try to get the concrete foundations, but to be completely honest with you, I really just want to do something besides stare at this menu. Alright. So, starting off, let's see what we need to get. Alright, I need to get enough proteins to make this. However, I'd like to maximize as much as we can. And to maximize as much as we can, we need to go find some summer sloops. And then build that down, and I don't know which one of these. Let's see if we can actually get there, because I know the process is going to start getting a little complicated here, and I don't know. Let's just do some exploring. Let's see what we can find. I know there's an interactive map. I'm not necessarily going to use that right now. Eventually I'll be using it, which we have our normal map here, which isn't filled in. Which, give me just a second. Yeah, that looks absolutely horrendous. Sorry about that. I'm back. I'm still trying to figure out a lot about how to set up a lot of the streaming and stuff. So there should be a summer sloop. I passed it, didn't I? Yep. There it is.
Potential edible collected. If consumed before authorized as compatible with the human digestive system by Fixit, the consumer is responsible for any and all consequences. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
And here it is, our first summer sloop.
The Summer Sloop was named after Marie Somerville, co-founder of Fixit and head of its R&D department. There are many theories about the origin of this shape and why this symbol mathematically resembling a Mobius strip has found its way to both human and extraterrestrial culture. Thankfully, you don't need to know any of these theories to be a pioneer. Research it in the MAM to establish locally appropriate classification and application. Fun fact: the planet you are on was found and named during a planet spotting event Marie hosted named Marie's Awesome Scientific Search of the Avant-Garde Exoplanets. Potential edible collected. Eating it and surviving does not count as a valid field test and does not generate enough data for Fixit to make an informed decision. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
Okay, and here is going to be our first crash site. Ada's going to be yapping for a little while. She's about to start yapping about this.
Damaged hard drive successfully acquired. All pioneers are contractually obliged to preserve and secure any recovered hard drives for analysis in the MAM, which may result in benefits to the Fixit mission. Speculation as to why there are crashed freighters in your Fixit designated zone is discouraged as specified in your contract.
You know, the more I think about it, I probably should have gone and to some crash sites and stuff before spending all that time, but live and learn.
Live, laugh, consume.
I'm around and collecting a lot of these berries because I already know I'm gonna need some help. Some health. There's a cave right there, but before we go in there, I'm gonna go and grab that guy. So I've built a starter base in this general location before, but I always ended up getting buildings that were starting to get really tall, and then that guy would fly through the buildings, and that was not very indicative of good looking, I guess. That always kind of irritated me a little bit.
Samples of unknown alien species acquired. Initial data suggests these are predators, but notably they do not have a traditional mouth or eyes. There are, however, numerous cavities on their head which could fulfill a similar function. Research the remains in the MAM to establish classification and potential countermeasures.
I think there's another one, but I think he's stuck. Yep, there he is. I'll probably come back for these mushrooms to start doing mycelia, which I remember, if I remember correctly, is part of the research tree. Just trying to think, is there any more? Holy crap, I'm going fast. I can't think of right off the top of my head if there's any more good summer sloop locations nearby. I'll probably think of them in a little bit. Dang, I thought I was going to make that one. How many we got? Inventory is starting to get a little full. So... let's grab just a few more, well, probably just this hog, but I know there's one over there too. So let's grab this slug, and then I know there's a bacon plant, which is our last plant that we need. I know it's over on the way back, so we'll grab that. See how much research we can do, and then start working on getting access to some more abilities. Ethereum, perfect.
Unknown metal collected. This metallic element is showing properties similar to those in Group 11 on the periodic table, such as high conductivity and malleability. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application. Potential edible collected. Reminder that look and smell alone do not provide sufficient data to determine exact risk of consumption. Just because it looks like you can eat it, does not mean it won't eat you. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
Then let me grab this quartz here. I'm trying to get as much MAM research as I can.
Unknown crystalline mineral collected. This mineral is composed of the same chemical elements as quartz and may yield similar industrial functions. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application. The remains researched belong to an organism with 8 jointed legs, similar to the legs of arachnids but with non-standard distribution and function. Because its attacks focus on stabbing prey with the ends of their legs, which resemble insectoid stingers, they have been dubbed stingers. Stinger remains can now be made into alien protein, and additional research may reveal options for improving pioneer safety during exploration. Research completed. Alien protein can now be turned into biomass or alien DNA capsules. In addition to being used for research, the invaluable alien lifeform data in these capsules can be traded for Fix-It coupons at the Awesome Sync. We guarantee the best capsule to coupon exchange rate anywhere on this planet. Summer sloop analysis completed. Summer sloops are somewhere between battery and conduit, harvesting energy from pockets of space with complete disregard for the rules of the space-time continuum, and distributing it into its connected ecosystem. This energy,
Let the effigies harvest until the waves reach our shores. Consume.
similarities to the hypothetical force of dark energy to potentially be one and the same. It can now be tracked by the object scanner.
We'll get through the yapping eventually.
The metal has been named Caterium after Fixit's greatest CEO Katerina Parks. It has been added as a viable alternative to gold in industrial applications, specifically in advanced electronics due to its superconductivity, malleability, and corrosion resistance. Research completed. Caterium ingot recipe unlocked. New Caterium research available. This mushroom, dubbed bacon agaric due to its uncanny resemblance to raw bacon, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available. This fruit, dubbed the paleberry due to its tendency to stay light in color even when ripe, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available. This fruit, dubbed the beryl nut after its distinctive color, is compatible with the human digestive system and has been added to the object scanner. Further research is available. The crystalline mineral was a previously unknown variation of quartz, with uniquely large and flawless crystals, normally only found in synthetic quartz. The industrial application of this mineral will follow that of its synthetic counterpart, specifically in communication and exploration technologies.
Okay, that was a lot of yapping. But with all that yapping done, alright, let's get some. Let's see how many points we can get. We're not necessarily completely done exploring just yet. We do need to go one other place to get some more materials and get a direct upgrade. And there they go. Oh, heck yeah. I love it when the fuse blows. Does that take too much power? I bet it does. Yep, it does. Whoops. Got you this time. Okay, we have way more coupons than we needed. I don't feel bad about wasting the alien protein because those guys respawn, and we will get way too many of those. So that works out for us. So I'll go ahead and shut that guy down. And awesome shop. Customizer. Concrete foundation. I really want to get a lot of these signs and stuff and the lights and everything, but we'll go with what we just have. Turned out, but that's fine. So now what we can do is when we go to foundations, instead of doing the fix-it foundations, we can actually go and do concrete. And mainly what we want is our concrete ramps. Alright. On to the next adventure. So right now we're just beating feet. But we're gonna get something to help us beat feet a little faster. And then we'll actually come back and actually start building some machinery. Actually, before we do that, let's do some research on the so the crash sites, or the crash site that we saw not too long ago, we'll get a hard drive from it. And what we need to do is scan that hard drive. So earlier I was saying that I didn't really want to do any kind of cheesing type deal where we go and like hyper tube cannons and stuff like that, but the more I think about it, maybe we should. Maybe we should. I would like to eventually get to a point where I don't do that, which actually there's the technology now in the game that they've added that makes it where you don't have to do that anymore. It's just really late into the game. But you can actually do some save scumming on here, and what you can do is when your research is completed, you can save scum by seeing what rewards that the hard drive gave you, and if the rewards is not to your liking, you can save, reroll, see what it got, and then if it's not good enough, then go ahead and try for a different reward. Load your save, try for a different reward. Alright, I believe this is the place we need to be. Yep.
The fruit of this fungus-like flora does not seem to show much potential for use. However, its mycelial network is worth further investigation. Research it in the MAM to establish classification and potential application.
Okay, so this cave here is very important. It's very important for two reasons. Number one, we can fail at jumping, but they gave us mycelia that we can use. Wow, I am really bad. Okay, it gives us that mycelia to use. Also, we get these nests, lizard doggo nests. Which has materials that we can use to do some upgrades. Which these materials are going to come really handy. We're going to do a lot more exploring here now. Oh, I just realized y'all can't even see anything. That's my bad. I've really got to figure out how to do that. How to fix that. What even caused that? I don't know. Anyway, don't know how long that was like that, but we can get these lizard doggo nests. And there's multiple of them, and they have some really good loot for us. So here's another nest. And there should be some stuff here. Maybe not. Oh, there we go. That's what we're looking for. So usually we have to do a lot of working around with the quartz skill tree to get this, but this is Blade Runners, and this allows us to jump a lot higher, as well as run faster. And we really needed these to get moving. And this is the only place you can find them without doing the skill tree. So moving right on along. I'm going back and deleting those foundations as I go along, because especially since I don't have a lot of concrete to my name at the moment, I really need to hold on to that stuff. So there is some more lizard doggo nests up this direction. Some spider boys have decided to join us. I think I better delete these. So I know there's at least 2 more nests, this one being included. And what we are in particular looking for is, I believe there is a Xeno Basher, which is an upgraded stun baton. And then there's a unique helmet that you can only get after collecting it from here, and we'll actually use that helmet probably for the rest of the playthrough. Which I believe one of those nests is... yeah, down here. And here is our Xeno Basher. One thing I would like to do later in the playthrough is go and tame all the lizard doggos. But that will be a future me endeavor. Because number one, I have no idea how many lizard doggos there are. And more than just a handful, I do know. So I believe our last lizard doggo nest is like right up there. Actually, now that I think about it, I think it's over here. Ooh, that was almost bad. Trying to figure out where this last lizard doggo nest is. Oh. Woo, got lucky. I believe it actually might be down. I'm starting to get really good at falling. I think it's actually over there. Yep, I was right. So, up on this one, not only do we get all these goodies, but here's that helmet I was telling you about. I actually like this helmet a lot. then, okay. I believe that is everything. Let me go back and clean up those foundations, because even now the concrete's still really useful to us. So something that I have been doing is doing multiples of 10 when I do these foundations, so I can remember, or multiples of 5 so I can remember. Remember how many foundations I've put down. Hopefully I could come up here and make this jump. I don't know how that artifacting keeps getting on the screen. I could just keep having to look over at the stream and I just keep seeing it. Like I said earlier, I'll investigate and see what I can come up with. So I deleted an extra one here, so it should be 9. Yep. And 15, 16, 21. Ooh. And I gotta climb back up. That's great. I was hoping that it is it? What's causing that artifacting? That's so strange. let's see if we can actually do this without screwing up horribly badly. As soon as I said that. And I'm gonna actually die to this. Yep. I may be known as the best gamer that ever lived. Alright, let's go get out of that cave, and then I'm gonna put a hold on the streaming for the time being. Stop and go get some lunch, and I'll come back. I want to do a little bit more research on why we're getting that artifacting issue. See if we can solve that. Might have needed some concrete before I left, now that I think about it. Oh well. We'll figure it out. Trying to grab some health, because the reason why I died there, so the reason why I fell really badly earlier and didn't die is because they'll leave you on 1 health if you're at full health when you fall. But if you're not at full health, then you can die from fall damage. The question's gonna be, can I get these? I sure can. Alright. That should give me enough to... Let's not do that while I'm standing on it. I was gonna be so mad if I didn't make that one. Okay, I know we have a death crate down below, and I'll get that on the way out. I just want to get these things, because going up high is what's killing me. Aim for the water! Ugh! Is it the water that's causing that? That's crazy. Well, at least we know what's causing the artifacting now. Well, okie dokies then. God, dog. Well, as soon as we get home, I'll do some super sleuthing. We'll come back and get some more crates. Some more, hard drives later. The big thing was is that we got the Xenobasher and the Xenoblades, or the booties. So now that we got some shoes and everything, this will help out a lot. We can actually run a lot faster now. But I'm gonna stop for some lunch. Come back. I'll be back on later tonight. I don't know if I'm gonna play Satisfactory, or I might play some Helldivers too. I've been really enjoying that game. You get to watch me die a lot. But we'll go from there. But alright, well, if you've seen this, thanks for watching, and I'll be back shortly.